Welcome again to the creative world of Adoor Gopalakrishnan. Mukhamukam, translated from Malayalam as Face to Face, the 1984 film of Adoor with a political subject of the division of communist parties unquestionably remains the most controversial of his films. The communists, which surprised the world by coming to power in 1957 through a popular vote in Kerala and is still in power today with brief intervals, took on Adoor Gopalakrishnan for the content of the film. The film boldly asked the communists to introspect whether they lived up to the expectations of the people and their cadres. The film, which is a social document of the communist leader before and after the split of the Communist Party of India in 1964, is a telling statement of the left politics and its impact on the people much before the collapse of Soviet Union in 1991. True to his style, Adoor's obsession is with the people in the left movement, and the film is not an ideological essay. He raises the question, like any other Keralite who passed through the excitement of an elected communist rule, whether the party and its leaders lived up to the expectations of the people or their core guiding ideologies, a question which still Keralites keeps asking. Let's talk about Mukhamukam. That's some film which in Kerala, when it was released, there got a lot of criticism, a lot of appeals about the film. One of the reasons they say that you are not openly any time associated with left movement. You are declared Gandhian. So the Gandhian view on the left communist parties, they couldn't tolerate your kind of view which you took in the film. So was it a Gandhian outlook towards the left movement itself?
I wouldn't call it Gandhian. It's not a film which denounces anything, not at all. It is not even making a strong statement against anything. Basically, it's about an internal search, questions being asked by the social psyche, in fact, the common man, about what happened to a movement which promised so much. People who should be moved by that and go on to bring it about. They waited for a messiah to come and do it, not making an effort on their part. So you are looking for somebody else to do things for you, and you have become even nostalgic about somebody who was around there with them in the long past, and there is a lot of halo around him, etc. You cannot forget the fact that time is very much an element in judging what you do. So with the passage of time, things have changed in the society and also amongst even amongst the party workers, it has changed.
When Sridharan was active, party was one.
Yes.
When Sridharan came back after
It's already split into two. Yes.
That's like you taken it as a watershed in
Yes.
the leader's life
Yes.
as well as the
People's
movements.
life. Movements like yes.
This leader who came back, he refused to take a stand.
He doesn't take either this stand or the other stand. He doesn't want to be associated with it.
Yeah.
Whereas he appreciates the young fellow who has turned what do you call him, spirited. He has a very secret admiration for what the stand he is taking. Although he doesn't openly say anything or support him. And the rebel also finds a genuine communist in him, this person. Actually, the person who comes back is a possibility of the old person who was there. It's a possibility.
Yes.
I am not saying that he has come back. It's a possibility of his. I am examining a possibility of his coming back. What will be like? How will he behave? What will be his stand? His position? This is what his examination is about. Actually, it is not against or for any party. When we are young, you feel like revolting, you are rebelling. No, that is a part of youth. But then with experiences, when the experiences really get you burdened, they press down the revolutionary spirit in you. When he was a UG and he was an underground person, he is known in other names. So he operates like that. So that was because the party was under ban sometime. So I have used that period, 10 years of his absence, to tell the
underground.
story. Yes, yes.
The human element of it, when he goes to this lady and the police comes in, it's a very, very touching thing which shocks everybody. When you even today see the policeman, what is he to you? He said, my daughter's husband. And father looks at him and said, I think that is your
Fate.
destiny, so you have to face it.
Your weight.
You have to suffer it or face it, kind of. So it is very, very telling comment on the whole society itself.
Yes.
But that time he was not in underground. He was overground
He
and
was
working.
overground. But the policeman says there are many cases against him. There are many cases against him. They are investigating him.
And so when he comes back, the boy waits for him.
They all wish him back.
Yes.
And the whole circle of people, they create him. A person, they all want him to come back. It's almost like sorcery. You create him out of the past. But the past itself is a creation of their memory. What is created from memory, it is a possibility of that is coming back as himself. So structurally, it's a very complex structure.
I know.
So that has confused many politicians.
Yeah, I
They
know.
thought it was something against party or
Yes.
many of the party comrades who were gone underground during that period. Most of them suffered from ailments of the intestine. When there is intense pain, what will you do? You cannot go to a doctor because they are
Underground.
you cannot come out and be treated. So what they used to do was to take to drinks. So that is what he does, while he was in the underground movement. But when he comes out of it, it has become a habit with him.
That's also indication that he is a pale shadow of his past.
Yes, of course.
So that's
Yes, this is what disappoints them.
yes. The boy, the father was drunk and near the school, and the boy first sees it, then he goes off. Then the whole children comes and
They put him
out, and the boy looks from there. That's a long shot, which is very, very heart touching. The total disappointment of the boy transfers to the audience.
Yes.
That
It was his great wish to see his father.
yes.
Because even before he was born, he's gone. And he comes back after 10 years. And when he comes back in the morning, he wants to see his father. But he's sleeping all the time. He wanted to talk to him. He wants to hear him. Nothing happens. It's very, very, very painful.
The leader who take him to house, he only drinks, nothing else. He only listens to what happened. He don't want to be a party to what's going on.
He also wanted to convince him.
Yeah.
Now he has turned right,
Yeah.
that character, who is also a kind of contractor and all that.
Yes.
He's left a party thing.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm doing honest work. What is wrong with that?
And towards the end, that debate, when the rebel, whom he himself admires, he comes and says, "Comrade, never signed that statement." And then it is the others come. That in fact the CPI CPM's that division part, it comes out very, very, very what happens to the rank and file and leadership. I think that kind of debate which the left generally don't want to be made public.
Actually, the Bengal's former chief minister, Buddhadev Bhattacharya, he told me, he saw the film and he asked me, what is wrong? What is wrong with Kerala people? What they see in it objectionable?
Yeah.
Why was all this halabala? He was asking. No, we welcome it. It's very good.
You are literally asking them to look at themselves.
That is what Topil Vasi was telling them.
Yes.
Vasi's Ulivile Ormagan, that was made into a play.
Yeah.
And he wanted me to inaugurate it. And in Trivandrum, he had all the leaders of both parties attending this function. Before my inaugural speech, Hasi went to welcome me on the stage, and then he said, Adoor is the one who made the communists to do introspection. That's what he said. I was very pleased because all the Achumenon and EMS, everybody was there in the audience. This film could not have been made by a regular comrade who has to go by the discipline of the party. And also it could not have been made by somebody who is an enemy of the party. So this is a very different kind of film. It has been misunderstood.
That is the time when Soviet Union, everybody knew that it was floating in the past achievements. Things were not going, and within 10 years, Soviet Union fell.
This film was very hotly debated in Moscow.
Okay.
This is what I heard later. I did not know at that time.
Looking back, your that storyline itself was it not prophetic? You are seeing these things happening ahead of the time.
I was not making a statement against anybody.
Yeah.
It was just an examination of a situation, and the people's wish for someone else to do things for them. They had all the expectations from this man to come and do things for them. Whereas when they find him failing, they do away with him. Whether it is party or the common man, we don't know who killed him. There is no debate on that.
Yes.
There may be prophets, there may be great leaders emerging, but then what are you doing about it? Nature of the people is that they want others to do things.
And coming to the film structure itself, initially it's all the struggle, the industry workers, union strike, and then the killing of the owner of the factory, and the takeover, and then the party is banned, the police raid, everything. From that first portion, it's like you take very fast-moving things. Second portion, like in the commemorate season, you have a very slow pace of things moving. You allow them to emerge from the situations too.
Because the situation is static at that moment. Earlier there was very virulent activity. That is gone. In fact, when there was a lot of criticism even at the national level, many comrades from parties, senior comrades, have written to me personal letters. I cannot publicize it because it's not fair, They did not want. They just wanted me to know.
You also said that you had a visitor.
Yes.
Here in your home.
Yes.
Saying that I am that Sridhar.
I am Sridhar. He came here in the morning, I think around 7 o'clock or so he came, and he was in very shabby clothes, and he had tuberculosis. And he came for treatment at the hospital. He said, he introduced himself as, I'm your Sridhar. So I said, you come. He looked almost looked like him, my character. So then I was about to have breakfast, and I invited him. My character is here, so I gave him breakfast. Then we sat here, and then said, people have bothered you a lot about it. I know you have been harassed by people, etc. He was telling all the story. As he was leaving, I asked him, you didn't tell me your name?
Yeah.
Then he looked at me and like that, did not answer. Then he said, if I get well, maybe we will meet again. That's really, I've not heard about him afterwards.
You mentioned about Abbas. Abbas took your interview in FBI, and he was a very strong leftist from those days, early days.
Abbas appeared in my life twice or thrice because he was the external examiner for the script at the Film Institute. And my professor told me, Abbas told me, if you have a student like that, your course is well worth it. He liked the script a lot. And again, Abbas appeared in Delhi when we had the screening of the film in Delhi. So by that time, Mukhamukam was hotly being debated, very hotly being debated. Ravi was there, so we were together on the stage. We were we were to answer questions from the audience, from press. So then Abbas was not very well during that period. He was on a wheelchair. He came, rolling the wheelchair, and he waited outside, just outside the door. He wanted to listen to what we were saying. Just imagine. Yes, I was very touched by that.
After the Mukhamukam, you never touched a political subject as such.
I don't call Mukhamukam a political film. I don't call it
Subject-wise,
its subject is political.
Yes, yeah.
Otherwise, it's not a political film. See, I always keep repeating it. Those who make a political film, they have the answers. I don't have the answers. Nor do I want to give the people impression that this is what it is. It's in the process of a question being asked. Maybe it is asking us all to answer.
Tarkovsky's book says it's sculpting in time, so you have taken that portion where the Communist Party is going off, it's banned, and then come back. The people, what happened to people in that particular period? The film itself is, like Martin Scorsese, as he says, this is the record of the time of the people, history. The visual record, it's not written or this thing. You can see that.
Cinema does this great service. Yeah. It's a portrait of a period. As long as you are dealing with the real things, it's a portrait of the period, of a particular period. That is not the first intention of the filmmaker, but then it comes in. Even otherwise, I am very particular to make sure that these films are basically social documents.
That's very, very clear, especially in color films, you can feel the place and the color and the difference, the mannerisms of people. Each cultural groups in India and across the world, they have certain mannerisms. How important is that cultural context? The way you place characters in the cultural context, very few people does that, You think that's very important for a film?
Very important for me.
Yes.
Because I don't make films just for that day. I think it has to survive the period of its making. Then only it makes sense. I have seen all the masters' works. This is what Film Institute has done to me. If I had not gone to the institute, I would have been just a playwright and maybe a producer of plays, etc. Nothing more than that.
I always felt your films at one level, it's totally rooted in Kerala, Malayalam culture, Malayali culture.
Yes.
At the same time, it has a universal this thing.
Yeah.
So this aspect of local being global. So that's
actually the more you become local, the more it is truthful. There are better chances of becoming universal. Ultimately, human behavior is the same. Only context will change, that's all. And cultural ethos is also a factor, very important factor.
Many people say that your best film, if you name two, it's Lepatayam and Another. So, and in Kerala, a lot of people thought it's very difficultly structured, but a lot of us thought it's brilliantly structured because nobody else, unless Anil Srivastava keeps saying that nobody has analyzed the human mind, especially one adolescent mind, like Adoor has done.
The fact is that there is a lot of myself in my films.
Yeah.
That's what happens. There was a dialogue in Gopalakrishnan. Actually, we were translating from Malayalam to English for subtitles. Both to Mr. T.M.B. Narangadi. T.M.B. Narangadi,
Yeah.
We were sitting together and then translating. So there is a dialogue where this the husband of the servant lady, this lady, old lady of the home, she asks him, so you are a Hamsam? Hamsam means it's actually suddenly it has reference to Nalajarita,
Yes.
where the swan is a go-between, between Nala and Damayanti. So T.M.B. Narangadi immediately said, this one sentence brings in the whole culture of that house. Others cannot say that.
Yes.
So this is how it is ingrained into it.
So that I think that's the most beautiful aspect of
Yes.
your films also, because it's very rooted And though people are amused to see this, even Malayalis, and I'm sure in over a period of time when people want to study the local culture, certain habits, I think that's a big lesson which you're living for generations.
Unless I feel very, I get a real big pressure from inside about some interesting idea, which I have to be convinced that it is something original, something very, very, very brilliant, and it will be worthwhile to make a film on, etc. It takes a long time to settle on an idea. I take a very long time. Several ideas come to me, and next morning I feel that it is very silly. I dismiss it. It goes on like that. So that's why it takes a long time. Once I settle on an idea, then I immediately work. I have to be happy doing it. It should not. It should be very boring if I do a film without my real involvement in it, without my real pleasure of doing it. I have to enjoy it, making it. So I am responsible to myself more than to anybody else.
The film created such a furore in Kerala that leftists and ruling communists across the world took note of the film. Some responded to the film as a call for introspection, and others, in true communist style, dismissed the film and ridiculed Adoor, otherwise a staunch Gandhian by political commitment. In fact, in Kerala, there is a group of Gandhians with a left mindset, and Adoor can easily fit in that category, going by his contemporary political positioning. The film, like his previous ones, is strongly rooted in the matriarchal culture of Kerala's Nayar society, where a man goes to the woman's house after marriage. Sometimes they just live together without any social function. In the film, the leader does just that, and he has a kid too who grows up not seeing his father, as the leader was underground. And after a few years, when the father comes back, he is a pale shadow of the old self and is a failed man for the son too, not just the party workers and other leaders. Huge disappointment about father leader's persona leads to an effort to get his endorsement in the ongoing debate in the party after the split. That leads to the murder, as both factions wanting for themselves. In a way, Adoor hints a moment which excited people with high expectations, faced with the split of his leadership, makes the leaders a pale shadow of themselves before the people, leading to their ultimate demise. Prophetic indeed, considering the collapse of Soviet Union, which happened later. Adoor does not claim to be a prophet and limits himself to asking questions, flagging a point and showcasing the human tragedy in all these situations. Mukhamukam is still a controversial film in Kerala because one faction of the Communist Party is still ruling there. Keep watching our video series to know more about Adoor's films. Thank you.